Alright, so we have some cattails here. We're right on the outskirts of my neighborhood. The snow's pretty deep. Just want to show that you can use this plant year-round for food. It's one of the few plants that you can do year-round like that. So what I would do, and I won't do, but what I would do, is I would dig down to the bottom here. I would take my pocket knife and I would stab down into the dirt there, because you can't just pull them that easily. The ground's pretty frozen. And I would stab around it, or cut around it, wiggle it around, loosen it up, and that should be enough to pull it out. I'm not going to do that. I'll explain why in a little bit. Alright, just continuing the video that I shot earlier while I was out jogging about the cattails. And one thing I want to point out is that there's a lot of videos out there talking about the cattail. It's kind of like a beginner survivalist plant. Just one thing I want to point out is that not many people are pointing out is that that is a year-round food source. It doesn't taste great. You know, the roots aren't that good or anything, but it is available year-round. And everyone else can talk to you about the fire starting capabilities, and you can use the reeds for tinder and all that stuff. But it's year-round. That's an awesome thing. The reason why I stopped there was because it was right near my house, and I don't have a lot of opportunities to go out in the woods the way I like to. So sometimes when I'm out jogging or anything like that, to keep up my knowledge, I'll stop. I'll look at a plant, and I'll think of how I'm going to forage it or how I'm going to use it, and go through the mental steps that you would go through. And not do it though, because not only do I have to worry about a legality of ripping up stuff on homeowner association land, but there's also an ethical aspect to it. And also in that area, since it's on the homeowner association grass, that grass is fertilized with high nitrogen fertilizers. So with the way it runs off there might be a very large amount of nitrogen in that, and I might, you know, it could make you sick. It's not necessarily going to make you sick. It's not something that, like, you really have to worry about, but it's really not good for you either. So I refrained from it for that reason, and for the legalities. And also, I want to point out that not many people point out in their bushcraft videos, and this is the reason why I don't have many bushcraft videos, is because there's an ethic that you have to think about, that these are living things too. Might not scream back, might not run, might not be animate, might not bleed, might not anything like that, like you or an animal would, but they are living things too. And when you realize that we are all made out of the same particles of energy just interacting with each other, you'll know that we are basically the same thing. There's no discernible difference if you look down enough between you and a rock or a plant. So you should feel connected to the animals and plant and organisms that you're dealing with when you're out in nature and practicing foraging and stuff like that. So you have to show them an amount of respect. And right now, being the winter time, unless I need food desperately, it's not really good. They're not seeding or anything, so it's not like you pull that plant out, any future plants that it was gonna bring into the world aren't gonna happen anymore. So you can at least wait until they're seeding, and you can plant a few of the seeds and whatnot, and better the landscape instead of just tearing it apart. And that sort of thing is talked about a lot in Tom Brown Jr.'s books. He's a little hyped up. Some people would say he's a lot hyped up, but I think he means well. He's using a similar type of exaggeration and hype that you see being used to sell a lot of other things, like Star Wars movies. Hey, it was a good flick. But, a lot of things that we don't need, all sorts of consumer items, why not use that same approach that our culture is very responsive to, for naturalism and true unity with nature. One thing I want to point out with this one, the Field Guide to Wild, Edible, and Medicinal Plants, the introduction to this is awesome. I don't know how true it is. I don't know the guy. Never met him. It might be true, might not be true. But the bottom line, the moral of the story is very true. If you're out there treating plants as if they're not a living thing too. You need to realize that if you feel bad for an animal that gets killed or a person that gets killed, you should feel the same way for a plant. And that would be, we should try to get to that point. I'm not saying that I feel that, but that should be our goal. We should have that mentality when we're doing these sorts of things. We should have the gardener mentality that they talk about in some of these naturalist books. And just think about it. Would you walk up and just start hacking away at your own garden? No, you would maybe try to eat the greens first. Maybe save the seeds if they're heirloom seeds and everything. So you have to have that kind of respect for nature. It's very important. I definitely suggest it. There are plenty of other ones, but this guy, his books are readily available anywhere. Some of them you have to find. Some other guys you have to find. And some other ones if you read these ones, he'll refer you to some other good ones too. So it's a little hyped up, like I said, but he means well. And if you're going to hype something up, why not hype this up? So I'm going to call it, and that's about all I really have to say. Just please, look at the way that you travel through nature and look at your relationship with nature. There's no reason why we just have to just hack at things because they don't scream back at you or try to make you stop. So, thank you. Have a good one.